Guys, welcome back to another episode of Atlas Survival Shelters. The video you're about to see today is called the Top 10 Reasons I Would Not Buy a Rise and Nest Bunker. Now you're asking, why would you make a video like that? Well, guys, if I was you, these are the reasons why I would not buy one of their bunkers based on what I know. Now, in the video that you're about to see, I actually shot it a few months earlier. I took it down, and now I'm going to put it back up with some editing involved, okay? It has top 10 reasons, but I'm going to add one more that's more important. Atlas does not build bunkers with propane water heaters or propane stoves, but the Rise and Nest people do. They build, as far as I know, every single bunker I've ever seen has a propane water heater. It has propane or alcohol burning stoves. You've got your burning alcohol in here?
No, it's propane.
You got propane in your bunker.
Yeah, that's bad.
And what can that lead to? It could lead to an explosion and people can die. And sure enough, 3 people died in a bunker explosion about an hour from my factory a couple weeks ago. It's a very sad thing. But guys, please take me at my word on this stuff. Do your homework before you buy a bunker from anyone or before you build your bunker yourself. Watch my videos, live, learn, but let's make sure that all the bunkers are safe. And now I'm going to cut into the original footage. I'll see you at the end. Now, some videos I make on my YouTube channel are designed for millions of people to see, and then other videos like the one I'm going to make today are really designed to educate you people who are interested in buying an underground survival shelter. So today's video is going to be called the Top 10 Reasons Why I Would Not Buy a Rising S Bunker. Now, you're thinking, why would you make a video like that? Well, if I was a consumer, this would be my personal opinion about, why I wouldn't choose them if I was going to look at guys, there's only like 4 or 5 people in America that even make shelters. If you were to Google bomb shelters, first one would pop up would be Atlas Survival Shelters. The second one would be Rise and S Bunkers. Probably hardened structures. That's Brian Camden. He's been around a long time. He makes concrete military style bunkers, but he's also a dealer for Atlas Survival Shelters. And then there's a couple or few people I can't even remember their names. So really, the majority of it the calls go to Atlas or go to Rise and S Bunkers. So in today's video, oh, by the way, guys, I do read the comments now and then, I get a lot of them lately. But one of the most common questions I get on the comments below is, what is this picture over here? Well, this picture is called Prince of Peace. It is a portrait of Jesus Christ, my Savior, that was painted by a 7-year-old girl named Akiana. Now, her story is incredible. She has these visions of heaven, and she started to get them at 4 years old. So she started her paintings very early, but she created this one called Prince of Peace when she was 7 years old. It's a masterpiece. But the story that really touches me as a Christian is the young boy who was 4 years old, who went into a coma and died on the table, but they brought him back to life. And when he came back to life, he was telling his father about how he went to heaven and he saw Jesus Christ and he had these big wings and everyone had wings up there. But this is how the book Heaven is for Real was written. It was a story about this young boy. Now, these 2 kids never knew each other, and this is the thing that really touched me. 4-year-olds do not conspire. But he tried to explain to his father what Jesus Christ looked like, and he could never get the drawing right, whatever, and they could just never get it right. So at the same time, across the country, this Akiana girl is making this painting when she's 7 years old. And when that painting becomes so public, because it was such an incredible portrait painted by a 7-year-old, and when the boy saw it, he goes, "That's him. That's the exact guy." And the fact that they both saw the same things in their visions, it just was touching to me. So I honestly believe in my heart, this is what Jesus Christ, my Savior, looks like. And this is why I have this picture on this wall. I have it on my other wall. And he is my guy. And you got to keep in mind, guys, Jesus Christ was a man that people by the thousands followed. So yes, he is an attractive man. There is something about him that makes you feel comfort and look into his eyes. I will die for that man. I believe in that man. And Like I said, that is my Savior and that's my Jesus Christ right there. So anyway, just want to answer that question for a lot of you guys. But, so we're going to talk about the top 10 reasons why I personally would not buy a shelter from Rising S Bunkers if I was a customer looking for one. And here we go. Number one, and this is very important, and it's the character of the owner of Rising S. You've got to look at the character of a person who does business and decide whether you want to do business with them. And the reason why I call out the character of the owner of Rising S is because I have seen from 3 different sources his criminal history. I just don't want to do business with someone who has multiple felony convictions for theft and quite a few arrests and charges for assault and assault with a deadly weapon. Where I come from, we call that a thug. But guys, knock yourself out. If you want to do business with people like that, that's your right. I'm not saying don't do business with them. I'm just saying I wouldn't do business with them. Another reason why I personally wouldn't do business with him, and this is one of the reasons I'm making this video, is because for years this man has used what is called puffery. That's exaggerating the truth and embellishing themselves, saying they're the best at this and the biggest and best, to basically take business away from me. And I guess that's what they're in business for. They're in business to make money, and I'm a competitor to them, I guess. And they want to take business away from me. So I say this much: they have done an incredible job advertising, because I have done no advertising, I have done nothing. But even when you Google my name, as I'm going to show right here, when you Google my name, Atlas Survival Shelters, guess what pops up? Not Atlas, but Rising S Bunkers. Is this legal? Yes. Do I consider it sleazy? Yes. But you know what? People do it, and maybe I should start doing it to them. But they've been doing it to me for years. I've never done it to them. I've never done the things they have to me. But you know what, guys? I have a YouTube channel. I have over 71,000 subscribers as of the moment of making this video. And I'm going to use what power I have, which is social media and a fan base where I get millions of views a month. So that is the number one reason why I wouldn't do business with Rising S Bunkers. Number 2, the reasons why I would not do business with Rising S Bunkers is their air system. Okay, they make their own air system. It's made with a plastic housing. It allegedly only has about 5.5, 6 pounds of carbon in the model that I've seen. Compared to what I do, as you'll see here, I'm using an air system bought by a company in Switzerland. This is the Ander VA150. It moves 176 cubic feet of air a minute, has 60 pounds of carbon. Apparently this is several times more than what the one at Rising S has, because I was told by Gary Lynch that it had 5.5 or 6 pounds of carbon in it. Okay, I don't know if they make a model that can have more, but I just don't like the air system. Another reason I don't like it, it's very loud, as in this video right here. Listen to this.
Turn this baby on. Oh yeah, okay, so you got power vents here.
Now listen to how quiet my air system is. You can hear how quiet it is, and oh yeah, it's blowing. Okay, guys, if you can sleep next to a vacuum running, knock yourself out, because I think that's what it sounds like. It sounds as loud as a blow dryer or vacuum. It's just very loud. Where my air system, I have slept next to it many, many nights, and it actually has such a nice hum that puts me to sleep. Also, I want you to watch this part. Watch this lady manually crank the air system in a scenario where the power would be lost.
Yeah,
it's easy.
Totally. Oh yeah, it almost makes itself go, for sure.
Yeah, so this is the easiest air system in the world to operate. That's why I use it in all my bunkers, because you don't know when a 6-year-old's going to have to do it.
Exactly.
Now you see how easy it was for her to crank that air system? This is why I use this air system, guys. It's so easy. If you watch it, she's actually operating the air system with like 1 or 2 fingers. I'm looking out for your safety, and you never know when a little 6-year-old's going to have to operate that air system. So that's the second reason why I would not buy a shelter from Rising S Bunkers, because they make their own air systems. And I don't know if that is to save money, but they don't have the same investment in their air systems that I have and the ones that I'm buying. The number 3 reason I would not buy a shelter from Rising S Bunkers is the air pipes. Now, look at this footage here. This is basically the same size shelter that I'm going to show in this video here. of a bunker I visited. This is a 8x10, and the one I visited of theirs is an 8x12. The difference is, as you see here, my air pipes, they kick out to the left or they kick out to the right, whichever way you're looking at it from, and then they come up and they have a candy cane air pipe that's hot dip galvanized, and then there's a check valve on the bottom. So these are tamper-proof air pipes. So if somebody tries to pour water down them, the water would go straight into the ground. On their shelter that I visited, the air pipe was going straight through the roof, and if somebody wanted to pour water into the bunker or gasoline, all they'd have to do is screw off that 90-degree elbow, look down, and pour gasoline or water inside the bunker, and that is not good in my opinion. I don't like it. So I do a much better air system on the bunkers that I build, so I don't like that. The air pipes is just 2 PVC pipes that you can just push over and break, so they wouldn't handle a moose, much less a nuclear blast. And then there's 2 air pipes. This is one air pipe. This is a 6-inch galvanized air pipe, so it's never going to rust. And then there's the other air pipe right there. Number 4, the depth of their shelters. From what I have seen in pictures and shelters that I have visited and shelters I'm about to visit, the shelter I visited was about, I don't know if it's 2.5, 3 feet underground, but you've got to have at least 2 foot of concrete or 3 foot of packed earth on top of your shelter. Now, they did pour concrete over the shelter I visited. I don't know how much it is. We'll find out when we tear the shelter out of the ground and we bust the concrete off, because I'm going to replace the shelter for the lady, and we have a GoFundMe account. Guys, if you'd really like to help out, the GoFundMe account is called Fix a Disabled Veterans Bunker. So we are going to help her fix or replace the Rise and Nest bunker that she got in 2017. And she has gone back and forth with them trying to get to resolve it, and they haven't been able to resolve it. So her shelter is in disarray. It has water in it, it's rusted, and she has never properly been able to use it the way she wanted. So I want to get her dream bunker. So if you guys would help me on our Memorial Day weekend, it would be very awesome, you guys. Okay, number 5, the doors that they make for their shelters. Okay, at the bottom of their staircase is a door. It's a heavy door. It's made a 1/4-inch plate, I believe, on both sides. It has 2 Schleg locks on it from the one I've seen. And keep in mind, guys, I'm going by the ones I've seen, the ones I've seen in videos, and the ones I've visited. Okay, I haven't seen anything to lead me astray that they have done. They do much more, but this is their standard. It doesn't mean they can't do it. It just means I haven't seen it. They have the same equipment as I do, and they have more than the means than I do to make a shelter equal to mine if they want. As a matter of fact, on their website, they even put it down. They've had this thing up for years, and it's called Bad Ideas Know the Truth. I find it kind of humorous, but I'm going to use Know the Truth against them in their own words. But I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to get to some of these comments where they're directly aiming them at Atlas survival shelters and the way we make bunkers. So let me get down to this one. Let me start with this one. Under the floor storage. They say under the floor storage can only be used to hold a few items due to its curved nature. It also the first place to flood in case of non-watertight environment. Rise and S Company offers steel shelving and cabinetry as well as underbed storage for all the items you will need in your bomb shelter. Well, guys, let me tell you what. If you call 3 foot of storage under the floor that holds 55-gallon drums a waste, then you guys are idiots. But anyway, I love this one. Don't buy a shelter from a wishy-washy manufacturer. Okay, well, guys, I don't know if I'm wishy-washy. I don't think I am, and I know I'm not. But I tell you what, I'd rather buy one from a wishy-washy manufacturer than a guy who is a convicted felon with a lengthy rap sheet for many years of his life. And I'll leave it at that. So I love this. Ours versus theirs. Okay, guys, so it seems like everything that I pride the Atlas quality on, they seem to put down. To me, it sounds like a self-admittance that they don't do it my way because they want to stick to doing it their way. And I don't like their way. So they claim an air-type environment. Atlas absolutely does claim an airtight environment because you don't want smoke from fires, gases from fires. You don't want an airborne plague coming into your shelter. And if you lose overpressure, all these bad things will come into your bunker. So Atlas absolutely prides itself on making an airtight environment. And guess what? It costs a lot more money to create an airtight environment because we're using those marine grade doors, which also are waterproof. Let's give you some video from the factory. So the doors we're using on all the bunkers are marine grade gas tight doors that lock down with 6 dogs. We also have an emergency port for breathing in case the door gets blocked or you need to look out for a window. But of course we have the 6 dogs that lock down. They claim a mudroom is needed. Our claim is that a mudroom is only needed if you plan to go in and out of your bunker. Guys, well, I guess most people do want to go in and out of their bunker, so that is kind of ridiculous, okay? Let me scroll down a little bit more. They claim that an L angle is needed to stop gamma radiation. Guys, that is by the book, okay? I'm not claiming anything. I'm just going by the book. Google 90-degree turn on, and you will find that every single engineering spec book calls for a 90-degree turn at the bottom of the stairs to attenuate gamma radiation. So I don't know who is designing their website, but I would send them back to school. They claim that a C-channel exterior is sufficient. Guys, it's more than sufficient. It's called structural channel. Let me show you guys the way in which we make these shelters. Now this is a little 8x10 with a 7-foot ceilings. This is 5-inch structural channel with 4-inch structural cross beams, and these are basically 2-foot by 2-foot squares. But let's look at this bigger bunker. Look at the size of this. It's gargantuan. That's 8-inch channel up there. That's 8-inch structural. Download force on that is in the high tons. Then we have a 6-inch channel for the wall brace compared to 4 inches is what the other people have been using. I say just a 4-inch square tubing actually, which is typically what I use for a fence post. And then the cross members on the sides are 4-inch, and then up on the roof the cross members are 5 and 6-inch channel. So the downward force with the concrete will not deflect any of the steel. Very heavily duty, and of course 6-inch air intake pipe. And then the stairs here, 36-inch wide stairs, not 32. And this is a diamond plate, so it's a non-skid tread. It's completely welded all the way around. Oh, this next item. They claim under the floor storage. We claim that under the floor storage is just another way of saying hard to get to storage. Guys, I put under the floor storage in my metal shelters, my NATO series shelters, my culvert shelters, my watertight shelters. Under the floor storage is fantastic. It means that you don't have to look at all the plumbing, the wiring, the batteries, water barrels, water tanks. They're all under the floor. Otherwise, you feel like you're living in the garage. Let me show you a little video of inside a Rising S shelter here, and you tell me which one you think looks better, and then I'll show you mine. So here's a Rising S shelter.
So for me, when you do something like that, it's more of a storage. Personally, I wouldn't want to be in here.
Now, here's my shelter, okay? You don't see all the storage anywhere, do you? You know why? Under the floor storage, guys, okay? Keeps the shelter nice and neat, doesn't it? I love this one. They claim 3 bulletproof doors in their shelters. Well, guys, Atlas does have 3 bulletproof doors at times in our shelters. We have a bulletproof hatch that's AR500. Then we have the interior gas door that's made of 1/4-inch steel, which is bulletproof. It's not bulletproof from a rifle round, but from most pistol rounds. And then we have a secondary gas tight door made of 1/4-inch steel as well that is bulletproof against pistol rounds as well, just not rifle rounds. But the hatch will stop all the rifle rounds. I love this one, guys. They claim gas tight doors. Well, guys, Hell yeah, we got gas-tight doors to keep out the carbon monoxide, the methane gas, the plague, the diseases. Do you want a shelter that is leaking air into it, or do you want a shelter that's airtight? So guys, most of the things that Atlas does well and that we pride ourselves on, Rise and S Bunkers tries to put it down as if it's bad or inferior, which to me sounds like a self-admittance that they don't do it. Well, that's about, I don't know, 14 gauge steel. If I made the products that they made, I would be very embarrassed and I would not be proud of myself. If I was to make a shelter the way they did, I would save myself a ton of money. But I, with all clear conscience, could not make a shelter like they do. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. This entire video is my personal opinion based on my 39 years of fabrication and my years of putting in bunkers and my expertise, and as well as the people who have guided me and counseled me in some of their opinions that I've taken in and I'm giving to you now. So they make this door that opens in. It's made a 1/4-inch plate. They think like this: well, we're going to keep the bad guys out, I guess, so they make a bulletproof door. Where I think like this: wait till the next Spanish flu hits the earth, and 1 out of 3 people get infected with the Spanish flu, like it happened in 1919. But in 1919, the Spanish flu infected 1 out of 3 people on the earth. Matter of fact, more Americans died of the Spanish flu in 1919 or from the flu in 1919 than died in World War I. So if you guys don't think we're due for an epidemic, just ask Bill Gates. Bill Gates has spent millions of dollars building bunkers for all his houses. And he believes that in his lifetime, as this article shows right here, that he believes in his lifetime that the Spanish flu or a plague will come back in his lifetime. And guess what, guys? This earth can't handle more people. Nature has a way of culling out the herd, okay? This is just nature's way of saying there's too many of you guys. We need to have a plague. We wipe it out. It happens to everything. It happens to birds. It happens to bugs. It happens to fish. It happens to animals. It happens to everything, cows, anything. It's just nature's way of controlling the herd. So that's why I don't like their door, by the way. Okay, their entrance, as shown here. When you open the hatch, you go straight down inside the bunker. What makes the one bunker better than the other bunker is the protection it has from the amount of rimkins that would get into a bunker, and this is what would infect your body and cause cancer and kill you. By having a staircase go straight in, it is not as strong as a staircase like this, that you would come down, make a hard left turn, go through one door, go through a decontamination room, then go through another door and enter the bunker. This is, in my opinion, a properly engineered shelter, and also in the opinion of the people who have guided me. I have tried to make my shelters by the book. I'm not trying to just put together a bunker and sell it to you real quick and make a quick dollar. I'm trying to make you a bunker that realistically the experts say will save your life in the worst case scenario. So their shelter, again, it just goes straight down the stairs and you go through the door and the door opens in, okay? My doors open out, okay? The reason my doors open out is because if the pressure comes, the door could blow in. Where my doors, the fact that they blow out, they're not going to open in and it's going to keep the blast out. So pretty much any blast door, including these pictures I'm showing here, these are concrete filled blast doors. They all open out, not in. I have never seen one that opens in, but Rise and S makes a door that opens in on the bunkers that I visited. I don't like this. I would not want this in my bunker. My opinion is if I was out of the business and I had to buy a bunker, I personally would not buy one from Rise and S Bunkers because I know the difference between what I like and what they do, and I don't like anything they do. I just personally don't think it's good, and I just personally don't think it is right. But that's my opinion. Okay, number 7, the construction of their shelter. Okay, now they make it out of 1/4-inch plate, which is fine. They put a rectangle tubing on the roof, but down on the sidewalls, it looks like they're using a square tubing instead of a channel. Okay, now, is there anything wrong with that? I really don't know, but I just know that the tubing that they're putting down the walls is what I use for fence posts when I hang gates, and I've seen them bent before. I'm using a structural channel, okay? I'm going to show you some images here. So this is my bunker, and I'm using these structural channels. And if you do put a square tubing on the wall, it makes it easier to weld at both sides, so you can do a straight cut, where I have to notch all my channels to make them work right. But it's harder, it's difficult, but I like my way better. Not saying their way doesn't work. I like my way better. I think my way is stronger. And if I had to choose two in a contest, I would choose mine because I feel it's better. And an engineer could decide that, but I'm using these beefed up 5-inch and 6-inch channels for the walls, and on the roof, I'm using an 8-inch channel compared to their square tube and the rectangle tubing they're using. That I don't know the size exactly, but I think it's 3x6, so that's a guess. But I don't like the construction. In my opinion, my personal opinion, after inspecting their bunkers, it looks like that the shelter was made the least expensive way to save money. Down to the short entry, down to the short depth, down to the PVC air pipes, down to making their own air system. Their business model, in my opinion, looks like it's all about making money. Well, that's what businesses are in business for, is to make money. I put your safety and your life first. If I make some money, so be it. But I haven't made a lot of money building these shelters in all my years because I don't worry about the cost. I worry about your safety. So when you're choosing a shelter and you're choosing a shelter company, pick companies that are going to put your safety first, and they use proper air systems, or what I call air systems with manual cranks, air systems made by professional companies that have adjustable flows. They have like 60 pounds of carbon, everything that you would need. So the next item I do not like on their shelter is, and I think it is a joke, is their hatch. I think they use the same hatch on their tornado shelter that they use on their bunkers. And by studying their website and visiting the bunkers that I visited, every one of them had this hatch on it. It is 32 inches by 60 inches, the one that I measured. It is made of a sheet metal. A girl can jump up and down on it, like in this image right here. Guys, if this is what you dream of as a bomb shelter, God help you, okay? I could take a fireman's axe and I could probably put a hole through that sheet metal with an axe on it. A bullet will shoot through this, and the only thing holding the shelter down is this, or keeping it locked, is this little, it looks like a screen hatch to me, but it has a little disc padlock on it. Compared to what I do on my bunkers, I make a hatch with a bulletproof lid. I have a housing around the lock, and then the lock we use is this lock right here. It's a big, giant, silver, solid stainless steel disc lock that you can't torch through stainless steel. You have to grind or saw through it. But it's so thick you're not going to grind through it. You can't torch through it. It's just going to be tough to get into my bunker. And on top of that, my bunkers are bulletproof, okay? I'm using 3/8 AR 500. I can even go up to 1/2-inch 550 if you guys really want it. But I haven't found anything that would shoot through my 500 except a 50 cal at point blank range. Okay, and it's not many people are gonna be carrying around those giant 50 cals. But anyway, so the next item that I don't like about the Rise and Nest shelters that they stick to their guns about, I like under the floor storage. I have nothing to get storage on the shelves like they have here. See, I don't have a problem with that, but the thing is, I like to make the inside of the shelter look like this instead of this. I don't know, which one would you rather spend a month in if you had to? Would you rather feel like you're in the county jail with a bunch of shelves around you? Or would you rather feel like this? Like you're in a house or you're in something comfortable. Now, guys, I make them both. There's nothing wrong with their interiors. Okay, they work. I just believe that under the floor storage, but it's funny on their website, they say they have under store storage. We say this is just another way of wasting space. Guy, you're not wasting space when it's under the floor. That's where you put your luggage on an airplane, is under the floor, okay, on an airplane. That's space that's not being used, okay? And the natural circumference of a corrugated pipe is stronger than a square. Ask any engineer. The key to corrugated pipe is packing the earth. I'm going to show you a short little clip right here off a video of these guys putting this very thin foil under some rock, putting some earth around it, packing it, and look at this. An over 200-pound man is standing on top of that little thin pipe.
And this is nothing more than flue pipe that we went down to the hardware store. It's pretty thin gauge. Actually, I'm going to put both feet in if I can. All right, now I'm going to What are we seeing down there? Any movement?
No, actually not.
Mr. Cameraman, do you see anything down there?
Just around pipe.
Just a round pipe? So here I am.
See, it's the tamping of the earth. So I've seen these people say, they call it flimsy pipe. You could shoot through the pipe. Well, guess what? You could shoot through the pipe with a deer rifle, but you're not going to be able to because it's 10 feet underground, where from what I've seen, the shelters that I've seen were 3 to 5 feet underground that they did, which is fine. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But the corrugated pipe goes deeper. But guys, remember, at Atlas, we make round, square, monolithic, domes, concrete. We do all the types of shelters. So we don't have we have a non-biased opinion here. We just don't make, our primary shelter isn't just a square shelter, although we make hundreds of them. And we're going to be making more, okay? But at least when you call me, or when you call me, I will give you an honest, non-biased opinion. And then finally, number 10, the preparation of their steel before they paint it, and their anti-galvanizing campaign. All right, so guys, we sandblast everything we do before we coat it. And if we don't sandblast it, we send it out and have it hot dip galvanized. We don't want your shelter to rust. All right, right here on the Rising S website, it says, do you use galvanized materials? They respond, absolutely not. Guys, the best way to prevent steel from rusting is to have it hot dip galvanized. But by their own admittance, they are not galvanizing anything. That means they are completely counting on their finish. And if it's not sandblasted, the material won't stick to it. Just look at the rust on the ladies' bunker in Minnesota after 8 months. See what I mean? It's all rusted after 8 months. So I'm going to show you guys some footage here. Now, this is a shelter that was not made by Rising S Bunkers. This shelter was a shelter made by a company called Survive a Storm. And they actually make tornado shelters, and I actually refer people to them for tornado shelters. But they attempted to make a corrugated pipe shelter, and I don't know if this was their first try or not. But I want you to take a look at this footage. The hatch is rusted because I'm going to guess it probably wasn't sandblasted, primed with an automotive primer, and used an automotive paint as we do. This is why our hatches are not rusting. Also, looking at their air pipe, this is what happens when you take a steel air pipe and you don't hot dip galvanize it. This shelter was only 1 year old when the people called me out from Louisiana, said, could you come over here and take a look at this shelter and give us a professional opinion on it, because we're going back and forth with this company about who's responsible for the shelter looking like crap. But guys, it is very important that the finish of the shelters is good so you don't have rust. That's an armor-plated hatch. It's about 8 years old. It's got an automotive paint finish on it, so it doesn't have one speck of rust on it. Look at that paint. Another thing that on the Atlas shelters that we do, okay, I'm going to bring it up because I noticed on the Rising S website that they're talking about mold and rot and stuff like that. Guys, if you use the proper woods, you don't have that. Also, if you put copper sulfate in the paint, copper sulfate kills mold, and you won't get that. But at Atlas, we're using dried hemp, pressure-treated wood. This is why our stairs are galvanized with pressure-treated wood so they don't sweat, they don't rust while they're in the mudroom. But guys, if you do it right, like I feel we are doing at Atlas Survival Shelters, and I can pull up to a bunker 8 years later, like in this clip right here, and listen to what I have to say about it. The shelter smelt new. Been in the ground for 8 years, and it's kind of weird because it still smells new in here. I open up the floor, it's 8 years old, there's no mold, there's no rot. So guys, yes, can you get mold on bad woods? Yes, if you use the wrong type of wood, you can get mold. But if you use the right type of woods and you use the right type of copper sulfate and mixed in with the paint, your shelter's gonna last. As a matter of fact, all military silos have 10-foot diameter corrugated pipe like I use in my bunkers. Let me show you a picture here. This is how they made all the shelters back in the 1960s, okay? And they're fine today. Matter of fact, they put the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, in a corrugated pipe shelter. That's how it was prepared, okay? So, guys, in my opinion, these guys could find something wrong about a perfect diamond, okay, and then they could find something good about a broken wrench, okay. It's just, they're very talented, especially the general managers. It is incredibly talented double talk. He should have been an attorney. Guys, this guy missed his calling. He would have been a great defense attorney because he could have made guilty people look so innocent and then innocent people look so guilty, in my opinion. He would have been incredible. So he missed his calling. But guys, that's my opinion about Rising S bunkers and why I would not buy one. If you want to buy one, that's up to you. So guys, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope it's an informative. And I hope you keep Atlas Survival Shelters in mind. And if you're going to build a shelter yourself, please always call me. I'm glad to give you some advice. The main advice I would give some of you guys, though, is don't bury those shipping containers, okay? That's one of the few things I actually agree with Rising S Bunkers on. It's not good to bury shipping containers, but guys, if it's all you can do, it's better than nothing, okay? But guys, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please like, subscribe, and as always, share this video to anybody you know that is thinking about buying a shelter. And also, guys, if you're watching this video and you have bought a Rising S shelter and you would like for me to modify it with the improvements that I talked about in this video, please contact me here, Ron at atlassurvivalshelters.com. I'll give you a free estimate, even a free visit to come out there and tell you what it will take for me to change your shelter, to be as close to an Atlas Survival Shelters as possible, which will include changing the air pipes, changing the air system, changing the hatch, changing the entry if I can, but if it's welded on, I really can't. But guys, as always, I love having you come to my channel, and guys, I love you. I'll see you on the next one.